keep going.
Why the red pill bro was created in the first place. Like, their core grievances are often very legitimate. Like, liberal women and progressives, you created a space for the red pill man to thrive. You pushed men for years, for decades, so far into a corner that they had no choice but to turn to people like Andrew Tate to create these ideologies so that they could feel powerful, so that they could have somebody who would say, hey, it's pretty great to be a man.
No, it's because all the conservative guys are simps. They worship women. They're not and this is where I get so frustrated because, you know, a lot of these guys say they fear God, but how can you say you fear God if you fear women? Like, you fear being honest with women. You don't fear God. Sorry, but when you're bringing on like corn stars on your podcast that converted yesterday over men that have studied the religion for years, really? I mean, you care about money. You don't care about God. You don't. And I would say it deters people from the religion that actually do believe by doing that bullshit. To be honest, because the most genuine people I've met in my life, I would say the most, if I just looked at people's actions, the most like helpful people I've ever met, the kind that never lost their temper. I'm thinking of just like 3 or 4 people I grew up with. If I'm being honest, they weren't religious, and it was because of one of them told, I would ask him why they're not religious. One said it feels like a show. Second guy said he was tired of gay men telling him how to live. Third guy, you know, it's because they go to the church and they get nagged a lot of times by women. Or it's the guy at the front catering to women. I've never heard the majority of marriages are sexless. They don't have sex. That is the norm. They'll try to gaslight you with stats that say otherwise. Most women stop putting out after they get the kids. That's just the norm. I've never heard a sermon on women having sex with their husbands in my life ever. I have never heard a sermon on female gossiping. I went to church for, I have heard sermons dedicated to male sin, you know, corn. I've heard that. And I'm sorry, I'm passionate about this topic because I hate when people use religion to manipulate people and nag. It drives me nuts. I can't stand it. Do you know what? Undead Chronic was going to come on. I forgot about him. I forgot about him. So, yeah, I'm a happy man with my beautiful cat. All right, let me continue.
And even if that version of a man is kind of performative and a caricature, in my opinion, and I'm sorry, but the result of all of that, what this has become, is a major turnoff for women. Even women who
this is hilarious.
Who might share your values or politically agree with you. Because like you didn't want to date a feminist woman who hated you for your manhood and just hated your basic identity and wanted to take advantage of you through sex, women also are not going to want to date men who are assholes and hate them for just being women. And I really think that a lot of these men online that we see just generally don't like women.
There she goes, the shaming language. They don't like women. Because this is what the women do. Men are used to being criticized. I mean, guys, put in the chat. How old were you the first time somebody criticized you, made fun of you, roasted you? I mean, men are used to it. So women, we want this easy internet money. You know what I mean? So we want this awesome job. I love this job. This is a great job. But we can't take what comes with it, which is criticism. That's why, Melania stays in the background, because when you're front and center, that comes with critiques. That comes with criticism. Not everybody's made for it. But what women, we have a tendency to want is we say, put me front and center. And the men say, okay, here you go. Here's your microphone. And then we get criticism. And then we say, well, you just hate women. No, honey. No, honey. That's called being in a man's world. You asked for it. You're here. I mean, you're here. You're doing this. The internet, it's not a nice place. You seen 4chan? I mean, before all the women came on the internet, I mean, you go on 4chan, they used to require women, they would say tits or get the F out. You used to have to show your boobs to have an opinion. Maybe we should go back to that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, 5, 1, 2, everyone's saying it's super young. So they always come back and then they shame you and they say, oh, well, you just hate women. No, but when you're in the front and center, that's part of the job. I mean, I just got a super chat. That's part of the job. People criticize you. Your fans criticize you. Even. It is what it is. All right, $20 super chat. Oh, wait, I read that already.
And like I read their posts, I'm like, have you ever like been friends with a woman? Like, have you ever had any like moment of enjoyment with like a female, a person of the opposite sex? Because based on what you're saying, it seems like you just don't like us. And so it is no surprise.
And one of the biggest black pills for men is that they don't like women as much as they thought. It's a realization. It's a realization a lot of men have. Men don't really get a lot out of female friendship. They don't really get anything out of it, to be honest. So, I mean, I would say a lot of these opinion comes from being friends with women and getting screwed over by women. I mean, half the time when men get screwed over by women, it's not even a woman that they're sleeping with. It's some woman in the friend group that hates them for whatever reason.
Me that this is a situation that is occurring more and more frequently in our modern dating culture. This is from the New York Post, a recent article from a couple months ago. According to 19-year-old Liza, who's dating someone in his 20s and sat down with the outlet, she said, I'd go on the odd date with someone my age, and more often than not, it would end up in a straight-up argument when he started saying that Andrew Tate makes good points. Her boyfriend now, this older guy, is, quote, super chill, a feminist, and weirdly, so are most of his mates.
Okay, so women, they like older guys that are feminist for 2 reasons. One, when men are younger, they tend to be more open with their opinions politically, but then they realize it doesn't get them laid, so they learn to lie better. So that's option 1. Option 2 is that women, again, they don't want men to have red pill information because it's the sign of a power-hungry woman. So the more women react angrily to the red pill and get mad at it, it shows in their psychology, which this is most women, a lack of control. They're power hungry and they can't let it go. Andrew Tate does not make good points, though. Well, I agree with some of it. I don't agree with some. I mean, he's a person. I don't follow everything he tweets.
Missed all of the manosphere stuff, and it shows. So now, unfortunately, because of all this red pill bro stuff, women are being pushed even further into the opposite.
Someone said, damn, my woman ran off with my best friend. Damn, I miss him.
Direction, into the welcoming arms of these older, chill, feminist bros with their chill.
Oh yeah, Brett Cooper does owe an apology to Ben Hart. Yeah, where was that apology, Brett? Show me the humility. And Candace Owens, you owe one to Steven Crowder. I want an apology for Steven Crowder that was as loud as your accusation of being him being an abusive monster towards him. That was a shitty, fucked up thing to do. And I have been waiting patiently for like 2 years now for you to apologize. Let's see the humility, Candace.
Older feminist bro mates. But of course, because we need to be fair, the women in this scenario are also not blameless, literally at all. Like they might have started this whole thing from the get-go. And in talking about this, my mind immediately goes to Alex Cooper and her podcast, Call Her Daddy. But before we keep going, I want to thank today's sponsor. Now, if you've followed me for the past few years, you know that there is a product that I have loved for a long time, and that would be my Bond Charge infrared sonar. She and her original co-host would often tell women that they needed to have a
I'm going to show you guys a female manipulation tactic. All right. So we're going to go. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to go back and erase it. Should have brought a paper towel over here or something. All right, so it's okay, I got it off next time. So what I call, in general, the hoe pipeline usually is step one, major university. Now, by the way, hoes can go to big schools and small schools. This does not mean a woman's not a hoe just because she went to a small school. But I'll say, the bigger the city, the bigger the college, the more of an ability a woman has to be a hoe. Hoes thrive in environments where they can be anonymous, unless she's a shameless hoe. Shameless hoes, they'll do it anywhere. They have no shame. And we love them for that. We love honest hoes here. So, major university. Now then you get major university. And generally sorority, it's a lot of hoeing. Easy majors, because look, it's not that women with hard majors can't be hoes, but it's just the more time they have to hoe. Do you know what I mean? Like, if she she was studying to be a doctor, she'd have a little less time. But don't worry, we always make time for what we want most in life, and some women it's hoeing. Then it's the hoe pipeline is major university. Oh wait, sorry, major city. And then that's usually going to be dating apps. And obviously, the more time that goes by, the more time women have had to hoe. And so what will happen is, generally speaking, women will say, I'm not like that. But it's always based off of women's word, right? That men believe the women off of their word, which only simps do, you know. But what the women will do is say that you're like evil if you think maybe they hoed a little bit. I'm not saying you went all out. There's levels of hoeing. Maybe I'll do a hierarchy of hoeing. But then you go back to gaslighting. All right.
Men lining up waiting for them to date, that they should, quote unquote, have sex like a man, that they should toy and play games.
I'm a trad conservative woman. Now, men, let me talk to you and tell you what it means to be a man and why you're wrong. Yeah.
Games with men as a way of gaining power and confidence. Like, this is literally how they named their podcast, Call Her Daddy. Take a listen.
For people that don't know what Call Her Daddy means, the word daddy is what? It's like you're a boss, you're a badass. You're powerful, dominant.
In the bedroom specifically.
Yeah, and you are in control of your life and in control in the bedroom.
Yeah. So the entire premise, the entire idea behind this huge culture-changing podcast was the idea that women should dominate in life and dominate in the bedroom at the expense of men. That men, to them, were actually disposable. And this is something she has said.
This is how we solve all of your problems. He didn't text me back. You have a full roster, okay? You line them up. He ditches you, you grab the next and the next and the next.
So basically what she's saying there.
So now, where the rubber meets the road, if you ask conservative women, were you a virgin on your wedding day? Because, my question is, where is the guy you lost your virginity to? Where is he? in a way, you're doing the same thing. Maybe not to the extent of call her daddy. I think she had genital warts at like 22, so that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad in the hierarchy of hoeing. There's worse hoes and, less worse hoes. But you guys see what I'm saying here. It's now I'm just supposed to believe. Now I have to believe you did none of this based on your word. Really? I'm just being honest here.
Is her rationale for...
And I'm not saying she like ran a train or some bullshit. I'm not saying she did that, but would I bet money? I would probably bet my life savings that at some point at a 4-year university in a sorority that you probably had at least one night stand. I think that's fair. But what they'll do is they'll say, well, not all women are like that and gaslight. But the thing is, if you're not like that as a woman, you don't have to defend yourself. You really don't, because your actions will just speak. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to. But the more the women defend it, I almost think the more likely they did something, because, then I would just see innocence in you. Do you know what I mean? I would just see it. Not surprising. A lot of time, overpaid, privileged women will grow a feminist ego. Brett is going in the direction of Tommy Lauren and Lauren Southern. No, I don't. She won't hoe as bad as Lauren Southern. That was pretty bad. I don't think, anyways. Tommy Lauren, yeah, I see similarities there. But the thing is with TradCon women, usually what happens is, she's going to go more of the Candace Owens route, where she gets to say whatever she wants and her husband gets to be her backup plan. It's a great way to go as a woman. I mean, you do whatever you want, someone else pays for it. Feminism 101.